Alright everyone, welcome to New Airsoft. We have a lot going on right now. We're really excited to bring you this video. Just so you know, I do have the Demolition Ranch AR-15 Part 2 review coming out. I know I keep saying that, but it's been every week when I get a chance to do some airsoft stuff, I realize something new about it, whether it be the barrel issues, hop-up issues, or frankly just something I thought I didn't like about it and then I like about it. So I'm just gonna finally make the video. I already made a video a long time ago when I made the part 1, but I realized some things, some kinks, and rather possibilities that I wanted to bring back up. Actually talk about what you came here for, which is the Featherweight by FN and Cybergun. Looks pretty good. So, I absolutely adore this rifle. Now, if you know me, for the most part, I stay pretty close to the marksman side of gameplay. But ever since my friend got the Shrike system of the Crytac, I've been into LMGs, and I ran with his the other day and I really liked it. Once I saw a budget-friendly LMG setup, I was super excited and wanted to check it out. So that's what I did with this. But this part 1 to this review, we're going to go over 3 different segments. Segment 1, kinks and potential concerns that I've noticed. And then segment 2 is going to be pricing. And then segment 3 is just going to be things I like about it and some qualities for optics with it that make it look aesthetically pleasing. So let's jump into this first segment, starting with mags. So, first segment is going to be magazine compatibility. One thing I noticed is I have this M4 mag, so it's really cool that you have an LMG system now, and not only does it take box mags, and that's the main point that I want to make here. If you're running this, you want to run a box mag. That's the advantage to this, and especially with these kinks that I found out. So what happens is, the first kink is when you put the mag in, it's the locking. So the way the hop-up is made up is the chamber, which is the hop-up. When the BBs go in there, sometimes it's pushing against it, and even with just a 90 round mag, or 120 round mag, it seemed to not go in there perfectly. I would have to make sure it's in there good, kind of hit it a little bit because of the way the lock is. So all these M4 mags kind of have this little lip right here which locks into place. With that being said, I couldn't necessarily, this is the one I got for it, but the one that it came with, which is a high cap 300 round magazine, and this one right here worked a lot better. With that being said, I think it just had to do with the overall mag. I would put quality mags through this versus what I did and put this is a M4 mag by the brand Mag, okay? And it goes in just fine. And it feeds, but it doesn't feed perfectly, okay? It goes in much nicer, okay? But now watch this. So we all know about the BBs that come out afterwards, right? Okay, there's none in there right now, but here's the issue. With this, the M249 setup, BBs like to fall back into this little lever, and you see this little dust cover of the M249 mag setup. So right there, what happens is the BBs like to fall back into there, and they get stuck into the body, which brings us to our second point. So not only magazine compatibility, so we have all these M4 mags right here, okay? But also just the simple fact that you're gonna be taking mags in and out. So I wouldn't use M4 mags if you wanna be efficient and really help out your team on the field, I would use a box mag. So, note to self, QRS mags and any magazines with tight body casings, they're not going to fit into here really nice, and you're going to want to have mags that are a little bit slimmer, like the original style M4 mags, and this is just flat all the way across the board, versus the QRS mag. They have all these, you know, the hex and everything, and it has these little rivets right here, which usually are good for M4s, but for this setup it's not good because you need that flat setup to be able to lock in there nice. So hopefully we'll have some more mags to try out in here for the shooting test, and I can tell you more about that in part 2. To move on to our third point, let me go ahead and fold this on up, that way I could show you. So right here, there's this flap that opens up, and right here on the other side we have pins. These pins, every now and then they get stuck, they get jammed, and what happens is you have to kind of like fiddle with it, and then it comes unjammed, because this is how you open up and get to your hop up, and you also get to your batteries. So this is a very important part. As you see there, is I'm pinching on this on the sides, okay, and it comes up. These pins, especially this one on the well, it'll be, I guess, your left side, and this is my left hand, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. This is the right side of the gun, and so it doesn't like to sometimes, because they're both individual, so it's like you almost want to take 2 fingers and do that, and it's kind of weird. With that being said, also these pins are metal, this is plastic, and it's held on there kind of iffy. So, you know, this is a potential concern. When it does get jammed, like I said, you could just kind of fiddle with it, and then it comes undone by just pressing it really like fast. But it's a potential concern, because if that comes undone and this metal piece pops out, these pins won't have compression and they won't go back in. And then you have to do probably some tape thing, and this also is spring activated, so it boings up like that. This is the fourth concern, and this is something that came up right out of the box. So it's putting the stock on. There are 2 pins holding the stock that they give to you, and this retractable stock gets activated right there. So as you see, we go ahead and take this, we rotate it counterclockwise, and you push it in, okay? And now it's short. It has a nice CQB way about it, and that's actually how I'm gonna be using it most of the time anyway. So that was my concern, but it's held in by these 2 pins right here, and they are so stinking hard. If you watch my unboxing video, they're so hard to put in, very difficult. And they're not super long pins, and it's not like on a surface where I feel like it's okay to hammer, but once I started the hammer, you just really gotta hit it. And they get in, and as it is, they're still not perfectly all the way through. I still need to work on it a little bit more. I just didn't wanna like start banging it with a hammer, and then it just not come through. Our 5th concern is battery space. If you watched my unboxing video, there is no battery space in here. First battery, a 9-volt brick style, it cannot fit in there whatsoever, okay? Titan battery nunchuck style, there's no space for that. Alright, nunchuck style, just regular batteries, non-LiPo, no space. Okay, we got a 7.4 volt style battery. Let's see if this one fits. It's just a brick style. Gotta push that down, do that. Let's see if it fits. I actually don't know, I've never tried this one, so we're about to find out. Both pins locked. Okay, so the 7.4 works, and that's the stick style and not the brick style. So this is the brick, you know, this is the stick. Stick worked. So it's just because it's a smaller battery. But it's a freaking LMG. I want rate of fire. I don't want that 7.4. So bring out our 11.4 brick. I mean, not brick, but stick style. And then we'll try to put this in there. And that does not fit. A smaller stick style by Matrix. Put that on in there. That does not fit. Let's go ahead and put this this brick style. That definitely doesn't fit. Alrighty, now here it is. Now if you watch my unboxing video, you already know that this one fits, but this is very important. This is the 11.1 volt, 11.1 by Vulcan nunchuck style. I put one nunchuck on this side and it slides into place right there. So I'll bring it closer to the camera. So right here, that one side, it just slides right in there. So if you can see it, you see it right there? That's the battery. And it just goes right in there, right next to that, gearbox. Now the only concern I had is we do have the spring system right here for the gearbox. Does that need to be covered? Is that bigger techs than I am that know what they're doing? Is it okay to cover up that spring area? And actually it's really okay. It has plenty of room to breathe. So the point is though, is it fits. So we have both of those in there and we click it down. I'm telling you, those pins aren't the best. Oh, we have a BB in there. Cool, we were able to create the scenario. There is BBs in there jiggling around somewhere and there's no mag, so it's in the body somewhere, so you gotta shake it out, take this off if you want that BB out. And that's just an M249 thing that's always happening. So yeah, it fits 11.1, but you have to have the right ones. We just went through all these batteries and this is just a common issue. But here's my correlation to the concern number 4, which was the pins. If we want to go ahead and put a different stock on here, let's say like the Sol stock, you know, to the M249. So instead of having this retractable one, right, you put another one on there. Those pins are way too hard to take on and off, to change out things if that battery gets stuck in there. Now there is enough room. There is enough room to where if you had, if you wanted to put a battery through here, and pretty much you had another stock, okay, something that wasn't like a adjustable like this, you could potentially finagle, like, it would be very hard is what I'm saying. It would be very hard to do that. You would almost have to pull the wire out and charge it this way and put the charger in here and leave the battery in there. That's what I would do. This battery space is going to be your biggest enemy, but honestly, I found the solution right here. I would just get a 11.1 nunchuck style and then call it good. Well, we just got 3 more concerns, and that's going to be, we'll speed through this one really fast, which is the flash hider. So there was the federal mandated orange tip on here. It came off with just a little bit of hot water, real easy, and a little bit of a pry bar action, and that was no issue whatsoever. The only concern I have for it is it unscrewing. It's on there pretty tight, so I wouldn't do anything like that. The other concern was the rail systems. They are very flimsy. They are not like metal rails whatsoever. They are screwed in there via screws on the back. So right here, there's one screw at the top, and one screw here, another screw there. So there's 3 screws all together, and that's what's holding this top rail on. So if you want to put like this ACOG on there, for instance, and let's put it right here, it doesn't make me feel safe for putting that on a polymer rail system. This is a very heavy optic. It's a big optic, and I wouldn't want to put that on there personally. Or let's think ahead. What about the foregrip or the bipod that I put on here? Which, by the way, I did take the bipod off. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so I don't know. It feels very secure. It doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, and there's a good chance it's not. There's a good chance it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be just fine. But it's a potential concern that these rails are flimsy. I'm not saying they are. I'm saying they could be after wear and tear. And if you put a foregrip right here and you're pulling up on that foregrip, or like me, where's the sling attachments? And that's our second of these last three. Is sling attachment points is, I don't know, there's a sling attachment point right here, okay? It's right here, okay? There's like these hole areas that I could do stuff with up on the front, but I don't really know where I'm gonna put slings. I was gonna put them on the rail systems, but I don't feel like the rail systems can hold the weight of the gun and me feel confident. You can put them there, but I don't feel confident. Here was a little bonus knowledge. This is not a potential concern really, but this is something that did happen. When I was trying to put that stock on and I was hammering it in, the bolt fell off. So the bolt is off this rifle, and I'm not gonna try putting it back on. Those bolts for me, whether it's M4s, AKs, they always end up breaking. So I just leave them off, because otherwise I'm gonna end up losing it one day and I'll be really mad. So I'd rather just keep it in a toolbox and not touch it. That's all my potential concerns. Let's get to the price now. All right, the second segment of this video is gonna be the price. The price is right. The price is right. It's, you know, we're talking about a $200 LMG that's very affordable for the beginner market. When I say 200, it's 220. I just went on sale for 189. I think it could be 200. If it's on sale for 189 and the real price is 220, can't you just make the regular price 200? That's what I would be like. Can't we just meet there in the middle? You know, 200 would be a perfect price for this. And that's what I think it is. I think the $20 is like a little greedy. I don't think they could. I think they should just take that off. That's my opinion. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna put it in this video, but I'm probably gonna make it a separate video. How to take off the bipod. Very, very simple. Believe it or not. And this is one of my things that I like about it. That how easy it was once I figured out how to do it. So we'll make a video about that. But this brings us to our next segment. Our third segment is going to be things I like about it. First things first. It looks absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful look. I put this bipod just on for the video, but I actually ended up liking it a lot. It looks great with pretty much any optic you put on there. I wouldn't put this optic. It looks great with this combination right here when you go ahead and put the zoom and a red dot, you know. I think it looks really natural, you know. You have that look to it. Looks very natural. Or just simply the red dot itself. I think it looks very nice. And then you also have the reflex sight. Now with this being said, this is like just this honestly was just a generic reflex sight, red dot, and it does have issues fitting on there. It's not the perfect fit for this rifle. The rails just are too bulky and they don't fit it that nicely. But you could force it on there if you want, if you really want that look. A lot of people have this sight on there. I just don't think it's the perfect sight for it. I don't know. It's my opinion, but it makes sense to have a nice long field of view, you know. And that's what's so good about reflex sights, is they have a better field of view than red dots, you know. But other than that, you know. So yeah, I like the aesthetic look of it. It's pleasing to the eye. I enjoy it. Next thing I like the second thing I like is the detached barrel. The detached barrel is super easy to get to. It's all right here, and all you have to do is press this little pin right here, and boom. It's detached. I could pull that straight out, and I just don't want to mess up my hop-up alignment. But see, it's coming out. See that? Actually, I'll just pull it out. What the heck? So there it is. So that just detached like nothing. And by the way, that's a little sneak peek for how you get the bipod off. Let's see if I could line it back up. The lining up is the only hard part, and that's just part of this, because the hop up is different on here. Cool. Third thing, I think I'm on my third. It could be fourth. I'm pretty sure it's the third though. It shoots really good. It's relatively good at shooting. You're going to see that on part 2. I like it. It shoots nicely. It has a little bit of arch to its shot. I have no complaints to it. And I think it's going to be a good gun to run. The obvious thing, and something I haven't said the whole time, is it's super light. Even with everything on it, it's going to be a light gun. It's going to be heavy in comparison to an M4, but even with that being said, I have M4s that this gun is like still, without anything on it, it's still about the same weight. So it's pretty amazing if you think about it. You're going to have a full auto gun that's ready and can be using box mags, and it's relatively light. And if you want to run M4 mags and have something that doesn't look like an M4, and you can use full auto, there you go. Which, by the way, this gun only shoots full auto. So if you didn't know that, it only shoots full auto, and I like that about it. That's another thing I like. The next thing, the fifth, the fact that it uses M4 mags. You know, that's important. It's the Airman stock, I think it's called. Can't really remember, but I like that about it. It's compressed. It's short. I like guns that are shorter. It helps when you're playing out in the field, actually, regardless of what long barrels are good at. It's important to have that. One last thing is the fact that the safety on this is right here, and that's the only option for shooting that you have. The safety is really, really tight. Okay, it's a very tight safety, and that's about it. I think that ends our video though, everybody. The part 2 to this is going to be how it runs and how it shoots, and on the field, what's good about it. That's going to be part 2. So this was just out of the box, things I've noticed, things I've looked at, and that's the difference of part 1 and part 2. And that's going to be with all the videos. So I hope you enjoyed this video though. Please subscribe, leave a like, and like I always say, leave lots of comments. We've had lots of comments lately of people giving me feedback, and it's really helped out a lot. So thank you.